California homeowners moved across the country, and unfortunately, when they moved, squatters decided to move into their old home. I'm Tony, and this is Real Estate Investing and Landlord News. All right, so I have an interesting article for you today, and it's going over these squatter problems that people are having all throughout the entire country. Now, normally I'll cover a story where, hey, the landlord, they'll have a squatter move into their property and they're unable to get the squatter out of there, right? Well, in this case, it's a little bit different. It has a little bit better of an ending than what we normally hear about, and that's a good thing, okay? I like to hear stories where the landlord doesn't have to spend months or years on end trying to get rid of these people, but it still has a very negative ending because they still suffered a huge loss. And I'm going to be going over all the details of the story in just a moment as we get into it. But the thing that I want to remind people of is that we have to be diligent. We have to be aware that there are people out there who are trying to just use us in every single way possible. Now, normally I'll talk about tenants, right? But in this case, we're talking about squatters who just wanted to move into people's house, a home that wasn't even owned by a landlord, but just by a regular homeowner, a home that they used to live in and were trying to sell. So this can really happen to anybody, not just landlords. So before I get into the article, go ahead, hit the like, subscribe button, maybe leave a comment down below and let me know what you think. Have you, as a landlord, as a homeowner, or maybe you've just heard stories from family or friends, ever had to deal with squatters, okay? And what was the outcome of the situation? Were you able to get those people out of there relatively quickly? Did you have to go through the eviction process, or did the police actually help? I'm just curious to know what other people's experiences are in these sort of situations. So anyway, let's get into the article and see what it says. This article is coming from thesun.com, and it says, "Get out. We moved across the country and put our house for sale, then realized another family was renting it and changed the locks." Yeah, so when you have somebody who is renting it and you're not a landlord, I mean, that's a big problem. That's a big problem because you might not know that you have to go through the eviction process in a lot of places. And in this case, that didn't necessarily happen. So anyway, let's get into the article and see what it says. A family who moved across the country came to the shocking revelation that their old house that they'd put up for sale had squatting living inside. I think they meant squatters, right? But I'm not too surprised. The Sun isn't exactly a very well-written publication. There's a lot of spelling and grammatical errors in it. But anyway, let me continue. The couple and their 4 children relocated from Fresno, California to Tennessee in June of 2022, only to find out that their Fresno home was part of a real estate scam. Just imagine being 2,000 miles away and hearing that your house that you raised your kids in, this is going on, and law enforcement say they can't do anything about it, Sang Her told Central Valley CBS affiliate KGPE. Her and Nu Yang said that in early September, a family member sent them a photo of a U-Haul in the driveway of their Fresno house, and their for sale sign was missing. My parents, when they came to check, the passcode lock was still here, but they had changed this on. And changed the doorknob, Her said. With the locks changed, the couple called the police. Yeah, so basically they moved across the country, it looks like in June of 2022, and it doesn't make clear, but it says that in September they saw that, hey, there was something up, the for sale sign was gone. Now, I don't know if that's September of 2022 or September of 2023, right? And, I mean, either way, the problem is that you had the house sitting empty for a long period of time, and people, they're looking out for empty homes. So even if you moved out in June and it was September of 2022, right? July, August, September. So you had 3 months there where your house was sitting empty with nobody inside and, just trying to wait for it to sell. If it was September of 2023, it was even longer than that, over a year. But, the point is that with the way things are going nowadays, especially in a place like California where housing costs are so high, it seems like a lot of these squatter situations are happening in places where housing costs are super high. and where, there's very, very strong eviction protections. That's where you get these professional tenants from. They know how to play the game, they know how to play the system, and they're trying to live for free for as long as possible. So these people being in California, that was a very bad thing. Now, Fresno obviously isn't the same as like if this was happening in Los Angeles or if this was happening in San Francisco, but it's still the state that's the problem. Okay, so let me continue. However, when officers arrived at the home, the tenant showed them a month-to-month lease. Authorities left because they said it was she said, he said situation. Because nothing was getting done, Herr said, he reached out to reporters at KGPE. The outlet went to work. They compared the signature on the lease to the signature on the house's deed, which did not match. The outlet told police about the signatures, and within 48 hours, the tenants vacated the home. So, yeah, obviously, it would be very, very easy. It doesn't take any amount of investigative work to figure out that, hey, this is not the true situation going on. It would have been so easy, but the police don't even want to do that in most situations. Not until reporters and the news come and start banging on their door like, hey, why aren't you looking at this? Why aren't you doing anything about this? Okay, that's what frustrates me about a lot of these squatter situations. They're like, oh, we can't do anything about this. It's he said, she said. And I'm like, hey, the person who wrote this lease out, they didn't even sign my name. This isn't even my signature. Okay, this doesn't make any sense. It doesn't take much investigative work at all. And in fact, as a landlord, I'd be willing to sign a sworn affidavit saying that this is the truth, that these people never signed a lease with me. Okay? If that's what they required. But, and I remember, I believe it's the state of Florida, you can actually do that. Where you can sign a sworn affidavit saying that, hey, this is, these people are squatters. These aren't actual tenants, and that they are stealing my house, that this lease that they have is fraud, okay? And I believe that, in my opinion, they should have laws like that throughout the entire country. That way we wouldn't have to deal with a lot of these squatter situations, and we could just turn them into trespassers, which is what they are. Now, keep in mind, I'm not talking about a tenant who isn't paying rent. That's a different type of squatter, but that person, at least initially when they moved into the place, had an actual lease, and they either violated the terms of it and didn't pay or whatever, right? But that person actually, for a while, had a right to be there. What I'm talking about in this situation is the squatters who never had a right to be there, who are 100% scammers, who moved into a place without the landlord's permission. So they breaking and entering, property damage, trespassing, etc. would all apply to those people. Yet the police do nothing. And that angers me so much. The tenants told police that they found the home listed on Craigslist, paying $3,000 in cash to move in. When the tenants moved out, Her and Yang were left with a big mess to clean up. The tenants reportedly left most of their possessions behind, and Her said they broke the vents, sink, dishwasher, and garage door. This drawer right here is broken, and there is a water leak, and there are roaches too, Her said about the kitchen area. However, the couple is happy to have the keys to their home again, the outlet reported. So, good news, okay? The tenants left on their own. Now, the police, they didn't actually remove these tenants. I mean, from the article, at least that's the way they're making it sound, that the tenants left on their own rather than dealing with the pressures from the police and from the media, okay? So these people were able to get their house back, and I'm sure that they are going to make different decisions now that they know that, hey, this, the home is a target. And I certainly would. Now, you can't keep people from breaking in if they really want to get up in there, but what you can do is, for example, have a friend or family member stay in the home until it is rented, or check on the home constantly to make sure that no one else is living up in there. It's, there's little stuff that you can do to make sure that, hey, we're checking on the property constantly, nobody's messing with the place. One of the things I suggest is, especially if you are out of town, there's no reason for you to have a big for sale sign sitting up in the front yard. You could have the place listed online and not even have a for sale sign. I don't know too many realtors who would like that, but there's no reason for it. other than making the place a target for people who, are looking for empty homes. That might help. Like I don't put for rent signs up on my houses when I'm renting them out. I just put the listings online, and then the people, they contact me. That's just one of those things. The same with having a lockbox up on the house. That's a key indicator for these people who are looking for vacant homes, that the place has nobody living in it. So yeah, I mean, extra precautions, maybe a security system that will contact you immediately. That would certainly help. But you have to do whatever you have to do. And I feel bad for these people because, like I said, they're not landlords. They were just homeowners who moved across the country and were trying to sell their home when these squatters, scammers decided to bust up in there and, act like they own the darn place. So they got away lucky. Yeah, there's thousands of dollars worth of damage, but they really did get away lucky because the tenant is up out of there.